And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking F1 Rewind, Max versus Lewis. We're going to have a quick look at every Max and Lewis confrontation, including and up to Hungary that we have. So, a bit of fun. We're going to try and decide who is to blame. If it's Max's fault, you're going to get that. Naughty boy Max Verstappen. If it's Lewis's fault, you're going to get this. So, let's begin. And it begins all the way in Bahrain. I can't exactly remember what the year is, but here we go. So this is Max versus Lewis in Bahrain. This is Max Verstappen trying to pass Lewis Hamilton round the inside at Bahrain. And as you can see here, they get together and, well, let's be fair, it's very much before we get to Imola. Let's see that again. Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton in Bahrain, side by side. And as you can see there, it's Max Verstappen but not giving Lewis Hamilton any space, running him off the road. Hard racing, yes, but no space. So, I'm sorry, Max. I'm sorry. It's going to be you, Max. You are the naughty boy in that situation. Yeah. So next up, we are going to have Imola, or the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And a lot of these things, surprise, surprise, are going to happen in 2021. So here we go, Imola. This is just the start. Lewis Hamilton did have pole position. However, he lost the pole position by having an average start. But it was Max Verstappen that ended up passing him. And passing him he did. Max put on the inside. And look, banging wheels, as you can see there, making Hamilton go off the track. Yeah, I'm thinking here. No space again, Max, similar to Bahrain. And you'll see they bang wheels. Here we go. And are you ready? Gadonk. And Hamilton goes across one more time. Shall we? There we go. And just before, let's just pause it. There. Gadonk. Oh, well, maybe they just missed the wheels. But it was Max Verstappen not giving Lewis Hamilton any space at all. I'm sorry. I am sorry once again. Once again, Max Verstappen. It very much was your fault, you little naughty boy. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're all going to be Max's fault. I'm going to try not to be so biased. But there we go. That was sadly Emma. Now, yes, this is the famous one. This is Silverstone. Max, Lewis Hamilton going on the inside, and then Max Verstappen having that almighty crash. Whose fault is it? Well, the stewards ended up giving us. To be fair, the stewards ended up giving us a clue. They ended up penalising Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton was on the inside. Max did go across. Both of them, to be fair, could have avoided it. I was hinting towards racing instant, but we're not going to sit on the fence here. So just like the stewards, it kind of was Lewis more than Max there. I mean, the stewards mentioned it, so yeah, we kind of can't ignore that. Silverstone very much was a bit naughty, a little bit naughty. A la Matilda, but yeah, poor old Max Verstappen. Now, this one gets quite interesting. This is Monza 2021. Lewis Hamilton just come out of the pits. What is Max Verstappen going to do? He's going to go around the outside, and this is the thing. He's run off the road, and he knows at this point, nope, it's not going to happen. And then he just goes and hits Lewis Hamilton, despite obviously being run off the road. Let's go have a quick look at that one again. There we go. The stewards in the end did state that this was Max Verstappen's fault. So I could almost say like Lewis squeezed him. Now, here's the but though, and here's the big but. After the radio, Max Verstappen basically said that's what you do when you leave people enough space. Ergo, kind of thinking, yeah, I was happy to crash anyway. So other than that, I'm gonna have to give it like the stewards did to Max Verstappen, because that cheeky radio message kind of sealed the deal there, regrettably. So what are we going to have next? Yes, it's Max Verstappen touching the rim of Lewis Hamilton's car. He did, to be fair, he did receive a reprimand for that, touching Lewis Hamilton's car. So once again, Max, yeah, naughty boy Max Verstappen. Definitely your fault there, Max. Definitely your fault, I'm afraid. So moving on then, onwards to the Brazilian Grand Prix. Here it is. Here is the attempted pass that lots of people talk about. This was didn't even get under investigation. I think maybe it was noted by the stewards, but as you can see, Lewis Hamilton goes wide, and then Max Verstappen just drives him off the track, giving him absolutely no space. Quite happy, seemingly, to almost have a collision. So let's look at that one more time, then, shall we? So I mean, Lewis, yeah. I mean, there's nowhere Lewis can go at this point, so he has to drive off the track along with Max to avoid a collision. Had Lewis not moved, it would have no doubt been a collision. Okay, so I'm sorry, Max. That very much is your fault. Again, sadly. Let's move on. Let's move on from Brazil. Now, this is Saudi Arabia. And Lewis Hamilton trying to pass Max around the outside. But Max Verstappen pretty much brakes so late. Here we go. Look, he's going to brake really, really late here. And basically cost, Lewis... nearly hit Lewis, and Lewis actually has to take some avoiding action. If you have a look at this again, here's Lewis trying to take some avoiding action from Max Verstappen, and Max Verstappen just carries on, and then decides to stay ahead as well, despite getting an advantage. Yeah, to be fair, I've got no option really. It's going to have to be once again Max Verstappen's fault. So I'm sorry. Sorry, Max, but it really kind of has to be your fault. Next up, then, we're getting there slowly, is again at Saudi Arabia. This is the incidental braking incident. So at this point, Max has been told to let Lewis through, and Lewis is like, Max is slowing, what on earth is going on? He didn't quite understand what's going on, but then Max suddenly slammed on the brakes, and therefore hitting Lewis Hamilton. And if I remember, it was almost both of them could have been out of the race, but more significantly, I feel sorry for the headphones that Toto Wolff decided to smash onto the desk, which was equally bad. But whose fault is it? Well, this is where I think it's interesting. Yeah, Max Verstappen did get, I think, a 3-place penalty in Qatar for it. So, for that, initially, Max Verstappen's fault. But due to the lack of communication, I am going to also suggest that Lewis Hamilton was a bit silly, just going right behind Max Verstappen, albeit he didn't know what he's playing at. However, due to the slowing down and the pressing of the brakes, I think Max Verstappen is more naughty than Lewis Hamilton, although Lewis may possibly could have avoided that. So, yeah, it's still Max Verstappen overall, but a little slap on the wrist for Lewis Hamilton, thinking, what were you doing? Poor Lewis, poor Max, but mainly poor Lewis. So, this is Brazil 2022 with George Russell very much in the lead going to the first corner. Now, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton side by side. This is, obviously we don't have all the views here, but Hamilton at this point is ahead, but then Max Verstappen kind of goes off the track and just refuses to let up the corner and then hits him. Max Verstappen did get a penalty for that. Let's have a look at it one more time then, shall we? Lewis Hamilton, there we go. Ahead, ahead kind of going into the corner. He's got the apron. He's ahead there. Max punts him off. You can make an argument that Lewis didn't really give any space, but then Max Verstappen was half on the track, half off the track. And at that point, I think we just about have to give Max the naughty. Well, he did get a penalty from the stewards there as well. And interestingly, Max basically said, well, I've won the World Championship. Lewis was fighting for a win, so bad luck. He said something along the lines of that. Yeah, which is also why I think he's more guilty than Lewis Hamilton there. Last but no means least, is it going to be Hungary? Yeah, this is Hungary. I think we all know what's going to come here. So Max Verstappen, to be fair, really late on the brakes there. Locks up about here. Lewis Hamilton's about to turn into the corner. Could Lewis have avoided the collision? That is something the stewards did suggest. However, they both doink each other. And then Max Verstappen it is classed, to be fair, as a racing incident. Yeah, that was classed as a racing incident. However, I think overall that with Max Verstappen braking so late, leaving Lewis hardly any time to do anything about it, yes, he could have avoided it maybe at the last minute, but the blame mostly has to be put on the Dutchman Max Verstappen. Okay, this was a bit of fun. So overall, though, I think these are two absolutely brilliant drivers. Max Verstappen did prove in Hungary that he is a bit hot-headed. However, he is one of the most talented drivers of his generation, as is Lewis Hamilton. And I can only say how lucky all of us are to essentially to be able to witness this rivalry. And I think when we look back at it, it may all be up there with Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, for example, Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher, Mika Hakkinen, and Michael Schumacher, Fernando Alonso. There's a lot of Michael Schumacher in there as well, isn't there? But yeah, one of the all-time greatest rivalries in Formula One. And for that reason, I feel fairly blessed. If you like what you see, give us a subscribe. We do F1 news, rally news, Tory car news, a bit of gaming here and there. If you give us a like, you are, in my opinion, a world champion, F1 world champion. If you do both a like and a comment, or like and subscribe, if you're not subscribed, you are a multiple F1 world champion. Remember to hit that notification button if you want to not miss one of our videos. We do shorts as well. We'll speak to you soon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.